let's be honest. We've all gotten pretty used to AI as a handy chatbot, right? You ask it a quick question, you get a quick answer. But what if it could be more? What if it could actually be a true thinking partner, one that helps you tackle your most complex, messy, important work? Well, that's what we're going to explore. This quote right here really gets to the heart of it. This isn't about replacing human skill, it's about amplifying it. The AI brings this incredible horsepower for processing information, but you bring the critical context, the years of expertise, and that creative spark. It's that partnership that turns a generic response into something truly groundbreaking. And that's really the big question, isn't it? How do we make that leap? We're going to move way beyond just simple prompts and one-off conversations and see how to build an entire ecosystem where Claude understands your work, your data, and your goals on a much, much deeper level. So, how do we even start to build this partnership? Well, it all starts with a solid foundation, and that means we have to move past these single, forgetful conversations. You know the ones. We need to give Claude a memory and teach it specific skills so that every single interaction builds on the last one. No more starting from scratch every time. Okay, first up, projects. Think of a project like a dedicated digital binder for a specific client or maybe a new product launch. You just stuff it with all the relevant docs, the brand guidelines, the meeting notes, everything. From that moment on, any conversation you have inside that project has all that context baked in. Claude remembers everything in the binder automatically. Now, if projects are the what, the knowledge base, then skills are the how. A skill is like your own personal playbook. It's a recipe. You teach Claude your unique, multi-step process for a task, like, say, how you structure a sales report or how to apply your brand's specific tone of voice, and it can run that play for you perfectly every single time. So here's a really simple way to remember the difference. Projects store the knowledge, all the raw info and context. Skills perform the tasks, those repeatable workflows. And here's the cool part. They work together beautifully. A skill can tap into all the knowledge inside a project to get a job done exactly the way you want it. But what happens when the knowledge you need isn't in your files yet? Well, that's where research mode comes in. And I'm not talking about a simple web search here. This is different. This feature basically turns Claude into a little investigative agent. It plans out a research strategy, runs multiple searches that build on each other, and then synthesizes all of it into a full cited report. So knowing when to use research mode is really the key. This isn't for asking about the weather. This is your go-to for the heavy lifting. When you need a deep dive competitive analysis, or a thorough review of scientific papers, or basically any task that would normally take you hours of sifting through search results and trying to connect the dots. Okay, so we've given Claude a memory. We've taught it some skills. Now let's do something really powerful. Let's connect it to the rest of your digital life so it can see the same information you do. This, right here, is the game changer. Connectors are basically secure bridges to the tools you already use every single day. Your email, your project manager, your cloud drive. This is what turns Claude from a smart but kind of generic assistant into a personal collaborator that actually gets your world and your work. And honestly, the best way to think about the technology behind this technology is like USB-C for AI. It's such a great analogy. You don't need a different clunky adapter for every single application. It's one universal standard. A single, secure plug that lets Claude connect to a huge range of the tools you already rely on. And the best part? Setting this up isn't some huge IT headache. It's literally this simple. You find your app in the directory, you click connect, you sign in just like you normally would, and you grant the permissions. You are always, always in control. And this connectivity is where that partnership starts to feel really real. I mean, just imagine asking, hey, summarize the status of our product launch, and it instantly pulls the latest updates from Asana. Or asking it to find that one specific email thread without you having to dig through your entire inbox. It just fundamentally changes how you get work done. All right, the foundation's built, the data's connected. Now let's zoom out and see the whole ecosystem in action. How Claude can live everywhere you do your work. So on the desktop, the experience is tailored to what you're doing with 3 different modes. You've got your standard chat mode, which is perfect for quick back and forths and brainstorming. Then there's Co-work, which is a real powerhouse for deep research and writing up polished, finished documents. And of course, there's Code, a dedicated space for developers to write, test, and ship software. But it doesn't just live in one app. Nope. With Claude for Chrome, your thinking partner is right there in your browser sidebar, ready to summarize a long article you're reading or help you draft a killer email reply without ever having to switch tabs. Jump over to Slack, and Claude can dive into a chaotic 100-message thread and just give you the key takeaways. It can even prep you for a meeting by pulling all the relevant context from a channel's history. It's incredibly useful. And for anyone who basically lives in spreadsheets, this one's for you. Claude for Excel can explain a confusing formula in plain English, help you hunt down errors, or even analyze trends in your data. You just ask it what you want. And finally, for the developers out there, Claude Code acts like a true pair programmer right inside your terminal or editor. It understands your entire code base, so it can help build out new features, fix bugs, and just automate all those tedious parts of development. Okay, so we have this incredible ecosystem of tools, this whole amazing setup. But to make it all click, the final and honestly most important part of the equation is you. The focus has to shift back to the human skills that make this partnership work. And the big skill we all need to start building is something called AI fluency. Now, this is more than just knowing how to write a good prompt. It's about developing your judgment, knowing when to use AI, how to guide it, how to critically evaluate what it gives you, and of course, how to use it responsibly. And this 4Ds framework is a really fantastic way to think about it. First up, delegation, choosing the right tasks to give to the AI. Then you've got description, being able to clearly communicate what you want. Then, and this one is so important, discernment, using your expertise to critically evaluate the AI's output. And finally, diligence, using the tool responsibly and taking full ownership of the final work. At the end of the day, these tools are just that, tools. They are incredible amplifiers. They can help you organize, research, draft, and build, but the spark, that initial idea, that still comes from you. So the real question isn't just what the AI can do, it's what are you going to do with it? What idea will you make real?